Okay, so this video is not going to be for everyone. On rare occasions, we might ship a SOSEC unit to be set up by one of our trusted partners and suppliers. That's going to be what this video is all about. If you've received a SOSEC 200 and you're going to set it up for us on a customer site. So let's get started. The barrier is going to come to you with the solar panel packed down. It's going to be on the base and strapped to the cabinet. The very first thing you're going to need to do is release that ratchet strap. You're going to take the marine ply base out, lay it on the floor with the blanket, and lay the solar panel down with the pole oriented towards the barrier. Now, with any luck, you'll have a key that looks like the one Dave's holding in this video here. If you don't, you can get hold of it. It's just a utility key from Screwfix, but typically we'll ship these with the barrier. If you open the cabinet door, inside there's going to be a bag, and that will contain all your fixings and accessories. You'll see here that Dave is preparing the galvanized screws, which are going to be used to secure the solar panel to the post. And once he's ready with that, he's going to draw the two together and connect the cables. The cables will go only one way round. There's a male fitting and a female fitting, and they'll just snap together. And then you stow the cabling inside the post and draw the two together. We've supplied 4 screws for this, and you'll see that Dave is just loosely locating all 4 screws before then tightening them up. Okay, so with the solar panel attached, you can go ahead and raise that to the vertical. Be aware there's a closing trap there that might present a bit of a risk to fingers, so just be aware of that as you do it. Make sure you've got the longer galvanized screws ready to locate through the cup, as you'll see Dave doing here on the clip, so that once it's upright, it stays upright. And as before, once you've torqued these up by hand, make sure you fit the lock nuts to keep that secure. With the solar panel now upright, you'll want to rotate it to face south. Just undo those 4 screws on the solar ring that you fitted earlier. Rotate the panel so that it faces as close to south as you can achieve with those holes, and then re-secure it, being sure to fit those lock nuts in place. Just a side note from me in the future here. Obviously, if you're one of our customers from New Zealand or Australia, you'll want to make sure that the solar panel is facing to the north. With the solar panel fitted, the next step is to fit the boom. You can see that Dave has prepared all the fixings he needs here. The 4 M8 screws are ready. This is a really important shot. Before you fit the boom, make sure that the spring arm inside the barrier cabinet is in this orientation. This is the down position. With everything prepared, Dave just lifts the boom in front of the plate and fits those 4 screws, and you can see him tightening things up here. Now you'll see he's using hand tools and power tools here just to make sure it's really secure. This is a really critical point here because the boom has to be secure to operate well. If it's at all loose, the safety systems within the barrier control will detect the movement as a potential safety risk and shut the barrier down. So make sure that boom is secure. Now with the boom fitted, what you're seeing here is Dave manually releasing the gearbox. That enables the boom to move freely without the encumbrance of the gears that lock it into place when it's under motor control. With the gearbox manually released, you can raise the boom to the vertical position, then reach into the cabinet and lock it off back into the gearbox engaged position, and that will prevent the boom coming down on you. With the boom fully upright, Dave can now fit the spring, and this enables us to set the counterweight. Now, typically the barrier should have come to you with that spring balance correctly set for the boom that we're installing, or in fact you're installing in this case. So what you want to do once the spring is fitted is manually release the gearbox once again and see if the boom sits at a comfortable 45 degrees when tensioned by the spring. If you need to, you can adjust the tension of the spring by twisting the bottle screw. So here Dave is re-engaging the gearbox, which will lock it back into place, but it's at 45 degrees. So he can now take the barrier through setup. Now the setup phase is crucial, and this video will just walk you through it. He's turned the barrier on. Every time you turn the barrier on, the logic board will need to go through a setup process to set the limits of movement for the barrier. In order to do this, Dave has taken the cover off the control board. There's a button on the control board which enables you to manually control the barrier without accessories. It's the start button, indicated here on the screen. With the barrier arm at 45 degrees, let's start the setup process. Dave's going to click the start button and the barrier will travel to the vertical position. It'll find the stop bolt, which will prevent the movement any further. Then when you press the start button again, it will return to the horizontal position. And what it's doing here is it's just finding the limits of movement which are provided by those stop bolts inside the cabinet. The first time it does this, it'll do it at half speed. And that's the setup process complete. From there on out, it'll work at normal speed. Now, depending on how the site is configured, many customers would like their SOSEC barrier to auto-close. In this mode, it can be opened by any one of the access control methods that we provide, either the remote fob or the exit vehicle sensor or the intercom. And then after a predefined amount of time, the barrier will close. In this shot here, Dave is indicating dip switch number 2, which enables this functionality. After any changes to these dip switch positions, the board must be turned off and allow the lights to completely go out before being turned back on again. In these final shots, Dave is showing us some of the accessories your SOSEC may have shipped with. The smaller remote has a relatively short range, is great for giving to people in cars who are approaching the barrier, perhaps the forklift truck driver. The green-booted long-range fob is an option. You may or may not have it, but that can operate the barrier several hundred meters away. In these final steps of the commissioning of the barrier, Dave is making sure that the stop bolts are locked with the lock nut, and the same for the drop leg at the end of the boom. And in this shot, Dave is fitting the finger guard cover that goes over the fitment of the boom. This is important. It's secured in place with a couple of screws. This shot here shows the safety sensor. You'll notice that Dave is making sure that the safety sensor is switched on the control board, which enables the laser which is sighted down the length of the boom. You see from the display, when there's a number indicated, the laser is picking something up. And when it says far, it means it's looking into the infinite distance and is not detecting anything. When the laser sensor detects something, the barrier will not come down. And here Dave is plugging in the vehicle exit sensor, which is the same type of sensor used for the safety. These are laser sensors that look in a direct line out from the barrier cabinet. When interrupted, at any point from 30 centimeters out from the cabinet to whatever the far end sensor is set to, it will give the barrier an instruction. In the case of the vehicle exit sensor, it will tell the barrier to open, and in the case of the safety sensor, it will tell the barrier not to come down. These shots here indicate the lights that illuminate on the control board when either of these sensors are interrupted, and this is a great way of ensuring that they're working. Okay, so that's the process all done, and your barrier is now ready to hand over to your customer. If you have any problems or questions at all, please do get in touch. There's a team of people here at Solar Gates and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you.